Hi my friends, welcome back to my channel. This is the next segment of my red wine with grapes oil painting. And I'm still working on the underpainting. I underpainted these bricks in the background yesterday. Now I'm going to start underpainting the area where the leaves are and some of the grapes. So I'm going to start with a flat brush, a number 4 flat. I'm going to work on some of these leaves to begin with. I'm just going to take some sap green, a little bit of yellow, sap green, a little bit of yellow, and just bring the brush to a tip like that, and then sort of follow where I want the leaves to be and just kind of drop them in there. I want a darker leaf in the background and then a lighter leaf in the foreground, so I'm going to put the darker one on first here, like that. I'm making this one darker by adding a little bit more sap green that I'm going to put in the other leaf, which is going to have more yellow in it. So I'll sort of just kind of put that on there. Make the leaf a little bit like sort of tipped in that direction. Sort of defining the edge of the leaf. So that's the darker leaf in the back. Now I'm going to take a little bit more yellow and make a lighter leaf in the foreground. Just so they stand out from each other a little bit. There's going to be one right here. Just kind of make this one look like it's a little bit in front of that leaf. And just sort of fill that in. It's going to kind of come down here. A bit more yellow on this one. And just like that, sort of point the tips of the leaf a little bit just to give it some character in there. Bring it down. And you have some lettuce down here. I'll sort of mix the yellow and the green together, make a mid-tone. And sort of fill that in, and it's going to come down to here above. Sort of surrounding these grapes. I'm just putting the leaf in first, so I can, when I put the grapes on it, they'll sort of overlap the grapes a little bit. Lighter there. Come in this direction a little bit. This is all going to be detailed by the time I'm done. I'm just going to put some basic colors and shapes on at this point. So it gives us a little feel of that a little bit. I want this to come out a little bit more in this direction, I think, just like my reference shows. Maybe a little more, a couple darker ones over here. Sort of break it up a little. Break that up. And I grab a little bit more yellow. I just want to break that one up a little more there. Break it up in terms of value. Going to a little bit of straight yellow. I'm just going to play with that a little bit there. So I kind of change it a little bit. So it's not too flat looking. Between these grapes is some leaves so you can see. So let me kind of indicate that a little bit. That's the word I'm looking for, indicate. Indicate some of these leaves here. And a couple darker shapes. There we go. Sometimes when you paint a painting, you kind of make a decision as to how much, or how impressionistic you want it to look. You can start impressionistic and then make it more and more realistic as you go by adding more details. So I mean, you could leave it like that if you wanted to. It's just up to you, really. That's more of an impressionistic view of it. So that gives us some impressionistic leaves, and then let me see over here, a couple over here, kind of peeking out from behind these grapes over here. And maybe a couple over here. Maybe some dark color over here eventually, maybe like a large grape right there. Alright, so when we wash this brush, try to get all the green off of it. And my fingers. What I want to do is to paint in these grapes. Wash this brush, get as clean as possible. Nice and clean. Try to get, sometimes green is a tough color to get out of a brush. So now, when I paint these grapes, I'm going to use sort of like a circular motion. So I'll use some blue. Blue kills everything. Blue is a strong color. So even if I have a little bit of green on the brush, it won't matter too much because the blue will kill it. A little bit of alizarin crimson. Maybe a little bit of cad red. That makes sort of a wine color. These colors. Maybe a little white mixed into it just to test it. That gives us a little bit of a winey color. Red grape wine color. Okay, so I'm gonna pick out each individual grape. Just go straight in and go around and sort of make like a round shape. Like that. Just kind of twist it. Shows a lot of paint on the brush. Put another one in, just kind of twist it. Takes a little bit of practice to do this. I'm not that great at it myself. So twist it and make it round. Try to make it round. Another grape here, twist. Go straight in and twist. Straight in. I'll probably, when I do the overpainting, I'll probably use a little bit of a smaller brush. This brush is a little bit too big for this. And another one here. And a little bit more blue to that one. And over here, a little bit more red, just to give them some variety. There's one smaller one like right there. A bit more red into it. I'll put one over here, there's a little more red into it. Get some green. I'm going to take that green out there. More red here. Just sort of twist it in there like that. Twist one in there. Isn't that fun? It does take a little bit of practice. Like I said, I'm not great at this myself. I've seen some artists do phenomenal work at this. So twist it so it looks round. Alright, so some of the ones in the front are a little lighter. Put a light one right there. More red in there. Twist it in there. If you mess one up, you can just kind of go over it with another grape. Use a little more blue. Good thing this is underpainting, right? I wouldn't want the overpainting to look like that. That's alright, we'll figure it out sooner or later. Make some darker ones up over here, more in shadow. There, it's a dark one right there. Just adding more blue and crimson together to make a dark one. That's a dark one right there. See, I'm using both hands to twist it in there. Whatever it takes, right? The rule says you have to use one hand. Over here I'll kind of separate them a little bit more because they're going to be separated by the stems eventually. There's one, let me see, there's one way over here. So twist that in there. I don't have a smaller brush for this, but if you do have a smaller brush, you can use the smaller brush in conjunction with the larger brush to make different size grapes. Right now I'm just using a large brush. Probably pick up a smaller brush maybe Saturday somewhere or something. When I do the overpainting, I'll have that handy. Okay, so let me come over here and make some ones that are redder. Just press it in like that. Red grapes over here. Oops. There's one there, there's one there. Overlap. Grab a little bit more crimson. I want them to be a little redder as it goes over here because there's more light over here, and the color of these grapes are a little bit redder over on this side. Some more crimson. So much paint on the brush. That's a red one there. Straight in. The straighter you can put it in there, the rounder the grape is going to be. Just go straight in and turn it. Like that. And you do need a lot of paint on the brush to do this. Make some of this bluer. Just takes a little bit of practice, you can do it. This one's a little bigger and bluer. If you want it bigger, just kind of press a little harder. We have a tendency to make the grapes look a little bit too small sometimes when we paint. I'm guilty of that. Sometimes they look better when they're bigger, so just kind of put them in there bigger. Maybe even bigger than lifelike sometimes. There's one there. Press that one. Alright, so let me try to get all the darker ones done first, and I'll kind of focus on the redder ones, light red. Straight in and turn. Straight in, turn. All the dark ones are over here. Dark. You can put a couple larger ones here in the front because they're supposed to be a little bit closer. So that gives you a little bit of a illusion that they're bigger and closer. See that? Make that one a little bit bigger there. The hard part is to, when you press them in there, to just go straight out instead of moving it side to side. Watch. Just in, press it straight in, and then I'm pulling straight back. I'm not manipulating it in either way. Just kind of fill these in a little bit more here. There's a small one. There's a small one there. Fill one in there. There's one over here a little bit more, this direction. We kind of clean this brush to get some of that blue paint off, so I can add a little bit more red, crimson. Bunch of paint on that brush. Maybe over here I'll just put straight red, just a touch of that blue that I had on there, just to make them look a little bit different. Take a little bit more red out of the tube. Nice. Make these look a little redder. One right here, it's red. Straight in, pull out. Gotta remind myself of that too. Straight in, pull out. More white, more red. There. Big, that's fine. Don't be afraid to make them big. As I said that already. Don't be afraid to overlap them. Yeah. Okay, that one got a little bit too big on me there. Hey, I'm honest. If I screw up, I say so. There. This one got a little bit too big. Let me see if I can overlap that with another grape. Like that. That's a little bit better. Just try to fill it in there in the middle a little bit better there. Here's one. I'll separate these with highlights eventually. And let's see, another darker one right here a little bit. Might be a little small one right there. Just gonna fill this in a little bit here more. Straight in, out. Probably have trouble seeing that a little bit. Let me grab a little bit more Prussian blue. What's my Prussian blue? There it is. Kind of fill this area in a little bit better. It's a little bit open there. Prussian blue is a strong color. It's a hyper strong color. There. You can overlap them as long as you keep the grape that you're working on reasonably round, if that makes any sense. But I just don't want all these little openings here. I want less openings showing. Maybe one over here a little bit more. See, I kind of messed up there because I kind of lost control of the brush. Straight in. Turn, straight back. Sometimes you leave a little bit too much paint on, you can just spread that around a little bit better. Alright, so that's starting to come together a little bit better. I think I want these here to get a little bit closer to each other. Maybe this one right there. that. Just kind of working on the composition a little bit better. Get a little bit rounder in there. I'm going to bring this together a little bit better there. So there's not quite as much room showing there in between. Alright, so I think that's looking decent. Starting to get some of the shape of the grapes. Starting to get the shape of the grapes, getting some of the shape of these leaves established, and I think we're doing pretty good. Put another grape over here, it's a little bit bluer. Like that. Get a little bit of variety in that area there. Like that. Straight back. And straight back. And one more over here. A couple of stragglers in that direction. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty good. That's the underpainting of the grapes. I can start working on the glass, but it's starting to get a little bit dark out here, so I don't want to start to do that. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. This is the next segment. I forget what part I'm on. I think I'm on part 4 of this painting. Tomorrow, I'll let this part dry, start underpainting the glass. Obviously, that's the hard part, painting glass. So I'll do my best with that, and thanks for watching. See you guys next time.